Hello, my name is Jess and I am one of the perinatal and under 1 workers for the East Hertfordshire Family Centre service, and welcome to part 3 of 3 of our Introducing Solid Foods series of videos. I'm going to be discussing some of the commonly asked questions we get about introducing solid foods to your baby. So I'm going to just start by discussing how to progress with more lumpier foods and different textures. Speak a little bit about the baby's milk intake and when this will decrease. Some recipe ideas and also kind of just an overview really of that first year. So we're going to start off with progressing to lumpier foods. So babies can quite easily just really enjoy kind of pureed foods, and it's because it's very easy for them. They don't have to do much. It's very easy to swallow. There's no really chewing involved. So you may find baby eats a lot more if it's pureed, and that's okay, but we do really want to try and introduce lots of different textures. So some finger foods for baby to bite and chew and then swallow, so they're learning that process of how to handle food more in their mouth, and also moving on quite quickly really to more mashed and then lumpier consistencies. And this is just so it helps to progress them developmentally into having food how we would usually prepare it as adults, as there's not many foods we have as adults that are pureed. So we do really want to encourage babies to start having those more solid foods, so they can chew and swallow and just learn that overall process of eating. So the way of progressing is to try and introduce it quite quickly. So finger foods are absolutely fine from 6 months. So it is introduce them from the get-go and see how baby finds them. It can take baby up to 10 times to decide if they actually like the flavour and taste of something. So if baby, just say it's like a finger of toast that they're having at breakfast time, if they just lick it or they bite it and spit it back out and they just had that the one time, that's not to say that they don't like toast or that they don't like finger foods. It was just a different taste, it was a different texture they've had in their mouth. It's going to feel very different to pureed foods. So it's just giving baby lots of time to explore these types of textures and consistencies, and just be patient, and baby will get used to it the more they're offered it. It is more about just keep offering these foods, and baby will adapt and learn how to handle these different like lumpier textures and the finger foods. So try and progress with them quite quickly just to help baby move on in their journey of having more solid foods. Something that comes up a lot is the worry about baby choking when introducing more like lumpier foods or even finger foods, and that is okay. You'll just want to be mindful of how you're preparing the foods. So the finger foods, you just want to make sure that they're like long and thin and protrude over their hands. They've got a space safely to take a good sized bite, and if they're long, they're not likely to get lodged and things. And obviously we're going to be staying with baby while they're having their food, so we're always there as well. But I just wanted to speak a little bit about the difference between gagging and choking. So gagging, they're going to be red, they're going to be making noise, they may be sticking their tongue out, and that is perfectly normal, and all babies will gag when trying new foods, different tastes and textures, and it's just because they've not experienced that before in their mouth. It's a completely new flavour, it's going to feel very different to what they've had before, so gagging is very common. And then choking, they will be silent, they may start to turn blue, and it is very different from the gagging, and that is when help is needed by the adult helping them to have the foods. So there is like a little rhyme we like to say just to help you kind of remember the difference between the two, and it might help you just to kind of relax a little bit as well when introducing these new textures to baby. So if they're loud and red, let them go ahead. Silent and blue, they need help from you. That's just a nice little way of remembering the difference. So if they're making noise and they're red, just leave them to it. They're going to work that out themselves, but stay by them just in case it does go the other way. But you just want to be letting them explore that and handle that situation themselves, and they are able to. If they're making the noise, they're working it out. It probably just took them by surprise. It was a new taste, new texture, and that's absolutely fine. So just keep introducing those foods, and baby will learn how to handle them, and then that's how they move on to having lumpier foods and then finger foods as well. Moving on to milk intake. So milk intake will decrease eventually, but it doesn't happen when you first start introducing solid foods. So their milk will still be their main source of nutrition. You are just then introducing small amounts of different foods just to introduce them. So the food's not going to suddenly take over as their main form of nutrition. That happens very gradually and at baby's own pace. So you just want to follow baby's lead with how they are handling food, how they're enjoying food. So that it happens very gradually over a course of a few months. When they get to around 9 to 10 months, you'd expect them to be having the 3 meals a day. But if they are still kind of having a lot of milk, a good idea is to try and introduce the meal first. So they will slowly learn to kind of fill up on their food, their meal, and then have their milk feed afterwards. And then they shouldn't need too much milk, as they would have filled up on their food, and then slowly that milk will slowly start to decrease. And then as they get to kind of the 1 year mark, they are having 3 solid meals a day, just as adults would be having their meals. You might just kind of chop them a little bit, so it's just easier for them to use their spoon or their fork just to eat the food. Or if it's finger food, using their hand. So yes, the milk intake, it does decrease, but it's very, very gradually over the course of that 6 to 12 month period. And there's no set time. It is just it's all baby led. Go by baby's lead, and just kind of take it day by day. There may be 1 week maybe they have lots of food and don't have as much milk, and then other days they may not really have much food that day and then having more milk. That's absolutely fine. All babies are different, so there's no set time. It is just go by baby's lead. And then I'm just going to briefly explain again as a final kind of overview of what to really expect for the first year. So we'd recommend 0 to 6 months. Babies just have milk. That will be breast milk or first infant formula. So just the milk from 0 to 6 months. Between 6 to 7 months, so that first month of introducing solid foods, just choosing 1 meal a day, introducing different tastes, different textures, introducing finger foods. Between 7 to 9 months, introducing 3 meals a day. Again, they might not be massive meals, but just 3 opportunities throughout the day to start having some solid foods, whether that be finger foods or kind of more mashed meals, and things like porridge or like spaghetti bolognese for dinner, maybe some finger foods of cucumber and carrot sticks for a lunch. So that's just some ideas of how what kind of foods to introduce and when. And then 10 to 12 months, we'd be expecting baby to be having more of the food now, so a lot more of each meal, and they're just kind of chopped foods, mainly more finger foods. And then as they get to a year, they will be on their 3 meals a day, and a lot of it will just be mainly kind of the type of meals as we as adults have. So that is kind of like just a brief overview of the first year. But the the main thing with introducing solid foods is to just try and just relax and just enjoy it. It's a fun experience for parents as well as for babies. There can be like I mentioned with the gagging and choking, the scary moments, but it's just trying to stay calm and relaxed, and that will rub off onto baby. So if you're kind of calm when introducing these foods, baby will feel the same and feel more confident and comfortable to try these new foods and start and kind of continue and develop during the introducing solid foods journey. So I have, throughout this video, part 3 of 3, and the previous videos, I have mentioned briefly about some meal and some recipe ideas. 2 websites we will recommend is the NHS Start for Life website and also First Steps Nutrition. Both of those websites provide a wide range of meal ideas, and they break them down into the different ages and stages of your baby's introducing solid foods journey. Different kind of recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and finger food ideas. So have a look at those 2 websites for some further ideas and information again around introducing solid foods to your baby. So thank you for joining in with this Introducing Solid Foods series. If you have any more questions about introducing solid foods to your baby, please do contact us at the Family Centre service, and a member of the perinatal team will be happy to help you. Thank you for listening. Bye.